there's something that I've been thinking about even when I was growing up, that people of a certain standing in society or a certain class, if we want to use that terminology, did not really use the language. It was frowned upon. Do you think that it was more of a socio-economic thing, the language of Creole, in terms of where it was spoken and who spoke it?
Well, I think we have to understand that the European people spoke their language, and the indigenous Amerindian people spoke their language, and the African people spoke their own language and stuff. But for the Africans, you didn't have a single language, because the people of Africa were coming from all different parts of Africa and so on. So you didn't have a single language. So in a sense, the European people who were the colonizers in that sense, um, they attempted to really impose their language on the people. As the colonizing power there, they were saying, hey, you need to speak my language, because that is the language. That is the language. And so if you read from, say, for example, Henry Breen, who was a European himself, visiting the Caribbean, and experiencing the people and so on. He referred to the language as a language for toothless old women. So it was frowned upon by the colonizers, frowned upon by the Europeans and so on. And because of the fact that the African people and the Amerindian people under domination and so on were they were made to believe that it was the culture of the colonizer that was the prestigious culture, and so it was the culture that they needed to adopt and embrace. So in a sense, the colonizers, as I said, frowned upon the Creole language that had developed among the people, particularly among the African people and so on. Yes, so the Creole language was a language of predominantly the colonized people.
Wow. What else do you think needs to be done to make the language even more worldwide, more accepted, more embraced, or even seen as a necessary language for, like Kentry said, survival, or to even be able to expand your language count in the world?
Well, I think in Dominica, I'm not sure about what's going on in St. Lucia at the moment, but in Dominica, it would be good, even essential, for them to have it in schools, taught in schools, even as an option.
Mm-hmm.
That's not available at the moment in schools. I think that's essential. They've been discussing it for a long while, but as yet, nothing has happened on that score.
Yeah, I know that was being discussed in St. Lucia as well. Kentry, what are your thoughts in terms of what needs to be done to make the language move forward, even in a way that you would like to see it move forward?
Well, I mean, the more thing for me is the promotion of the Creole culture. It's because it's an identity issue. It's a matter of who we are and stuff. And like I said earlier on, if the Creole culture, if the Creole culture remains, then the language will survive. There's absolutely no question about that. And as I said, more and more people are in fact realizing that in order to keep together, in order to understand each other, in order to connect with each other, they need, of course, to use the language effectively.
Moving forward, how do you see the language advancing in terms of its popularity and for people to be able to communicate effectively with it?
I agree with much of what Kentry said, but I think literacy is definitely very important, because it's not going to be taken as seriously as other languages unless people are also literate in the language. So obviously it's good more people are speaking it, but they need to be able to read and write it as well for recording, as Kentry said, in Parliament and so on. It's definitely necessary.
Well, I agree with Sylvia fully. The literacy component, that is what is necessary to facilitate that transition that I'm speaking about. If
Mm-hmm.
people are not literate in the language, if people can read and write the language, then in a sense you are restricted. You are restricted, and we have to remove that restriction of illiteracy, to so speak, to allow the language to really flourish in the way that we would like it to.